It's 4 o'clock. I didn't realize.
It just turned.
I know. And now it's 4:01. Let's see. Stop broadcast live. Oh, we're live. Okay. Hi, everybody. This is V, RV Lady. And Nana's Joy is on here with. And we have 2 viewers. I think I'm one and Nana's Joy is the other. We were just sitting here talking just between ourselves, not realizing that it was 4 o'clock already.
Hi, Dreaming.
Let's see. Who's here? Who's here?
Dreaming.
Dreaming of RVing. Good evening. Dreaming of RVing. So what have you been up to? Today's topic, for lack of something better to talk about, is knowing when to get your RV or trailer and or fifth wheeler or whatever off the road. Now we're down to 1 viewer. Oh, there's 2. Hi, Janet.
Hi, Janet.
How are ya? You look good. Yeah, we're kind of waiting for viewers to, you know, come and view us. What's new with you, Janet? Anything?
Give us some exciting news.
I know. I need exciting news. I need somebody to, like, tell me what's up with the world. And like today, I decided that I was either going to be taking the Suzuki to the repair place or I was going to actually fix it. Dreaming of RVing, taking care of Mom. I'll have to leave and put her to bed before long. Okay.
Hi, Nancy.
Yeah, hi, Nancy. How are you? I am so confused by this. I would like somebody to take care of me. I would like somebody to put me to bed. Yeah, I would like that.
With no strings attached.
Yeah, no strings attached. It's like, you know, oh, okay, get in bed. Yeah, here are the sheets are all clean, and let me get you a glass of water.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Now we are here. Let's see. Yeah, there's not really anything exciting happening in my world. Knowing when to get off the road was just like a real stretch. I couldn't. No, we are here.
Oh, that's too bad.
What's too bad? What did I miss?
Dreaming's mom has Alzheimer's, so she's having to care for her.
Oh, my mom has Alzheimer's. Don't think you want that. You know, I've always wondered about Alzheimer's. But no, I don't really want a severe case of Alzheimer's. I wouldn't mind waking up every day and saying, and just having that whole experience be new. That wouldn't be too bad.
Except they go downhill quick.
Yeah, that's the bad part. Okay. Basically, my daughter and son-in-law are on their way home right now to their house, and I asked them in a text message to getting ready for Disney World again. Hello. Get to go on that trip. Disney World, I think, is closed.
Hi, Lori.
They had some good damage there. Hi, Lori. They had some substantial damage, I believe, at Disneyland.
You were saying your daughter went home and what?
Oh, I sent them a text message earlier that said, please, when you come home, don't use your internet. Because I'll be sucking up all of the bandwidth that AT&T provides, which is like none. But they come home and like turn on the TV or whatever. They hook up to the internet. turn on their computers, whatever. And as soon as they do that, then I lose. That's what happened like 2 weeks ago at the RV Women Hangout, is that they went online and it dumps me because they have really, really, really incredibly crappy signal. Okay. I want to go to Disneyland World. Okay, now what I was going to talk about today was knowing when to get off the road with your RV and or any kind of equipment. Just stopping by with healing and blessings to all in the worst of times. Okay, thank you. That was nice.
Nancy wants to know if you've got your AC fixed.
No, I have not. I need to, this is the order that I'm going to do this in. I want to replace the floor of the RV. And when I say floor, I mean the subfloor, not just like, you know, the decorations that you put on top. I'm going to put linoleum back on top. Because linoleum is easier to clean, sweep, and whatnot. I don't want to do carpet, and I sure don't want the wood or the weight of fake wood flooring or whatever that is. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unbolt all of this stuff in the RV, rip up the subfloor, which is bad, and replace it. At the same time, I'll be installing a new AC unit up above, figuring if I should, I don't know, drop it, whatever, screw it up. I'm not going to be damaging anything inside the RV because I will have already taken it outside to replace the floor. Does that make sense? So anyway, I'm doing it all at the same time. RV, do you need your glasses? Yee. Yes. Be back walking the dogs. Okay, Janet. That's funny. But that's basically my plan. I'm going to do a few other things like replace the inverter. And I'm also going to replace the converter. And I'm also going to replace the inverter that doesn't seem to be working anymore. I can't quite figure that out, but it's old. Everything in this RV is old. And what I'm going to do is basically get this thing ready to sell it. Yikes! So, you know, people are going to want a nice floor, or a floor. People are going to want AC. And it's probably going to take me
Hi, Tony.
2 years to find the RV that I want. So, I mean, I'm not in any hurry, blah, 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 blah. And I kind of got 2 years to shop, possibly 3. Yeah, am I going to be making videos? I'm thinking no. I don't know that I'm going to be making videos about it. Only because I really, yeah, diesel pusher, here I come. I really want to, no, I probably will. Who knows? Oh, I'll tell you something interesting before we actually get on a real topic, is I have decided not to continue my website, rvlady.net. Just thought I'd throw that in. I was, or am, up for renewal for rvlady.net, and at GoDaddy is where I have my website, or whatever that's called. Anyway, the difference between last year's price and this year's price is $57. So in 1 year, they raised the price $57. Well, what's it going to be next year? And the year after that?
I don't blame you.
Yeah. And besides, I'm not going to really need it. I mean, I just don't need it. It's just one more thing for me to take care of. And quite frankly, I just updated it, which you would think that I would have thought, yeah, I don't think I'll update it. So whatever. I mean, no, but I mean, I basically got it as a portal for people to go over and then buy stuff on Amazon, and then Amazon supposedly kicks me back whatever amount of money and it doesn't cost you anything. Yeah, well, Amazon isn't really doing that with a lot of integrity. So I haven't quite figured out how to get money out of Amazon for that. So anyway, and it's not a lot of money anyway. It's like, you know, I've had that website for 2 years, maybe a little bit more. And I want to say that I maybe made, I don't know, under $20 on that website. They want over $200 for my domain name and my website, web builder. And yeah, no, not gonna do it. I just don't need it. I don't need to. There's nothing over there that I can think of that isn't on YouTube. If people want to get a hold of me, they can come to YouTube. If somebody wants to, you know, donate money to me, they can send me an email.
What is Wix, Tony?
What is Wix, Tony?
Yeah, what is Wix? Or WIX? Building the website was never a problem. It's maintaining the website. And it's an expense that I simply don't need. You know, I would rather have 600 other things that I can spend 200 and change on than a website. So, I mean, that's the way I look at it. A site builder from Google. Yeah. Oh, Wix is like WordPress. Yeah. As the author that I am, writing books, blah, 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 I think I have a WordPress website. I think it's free, or I got it when it was free, or nobody's ever sent me a bill. And I don't actually even know if it's still there, quite honestly. Again, you know, too many irons in the fire, and yeah, I just have too many irons in the fire, and just there's not enough time and for me to just do it all. So I'm going to do the things that actually make me money and not things that just want to, I don't know, charge me more and more and more and more and more. I am building my store on it. Tony, I don't know if you're using Amazon as a store, but they've changed that whole parameter. If and they're paying way less, and they weren't paying very much before. Once you have a WordPress site, the name is always yours. Oh, okay, well, that's good to know. I write under a different name, so. Let's see. So what I wanted to talk about, just for a lack of topic, quite frankly, is knowing when to get your rig off the road. And I'm not talking breakdowns. Obviously, if you're going to break down, it's always really convenient to break down on a ramp as opposed to on a freeway. And once again, always know where you are, unlike what I do. But it has to do with inclement weather. And this entire topic is going to take about, I don't know, 5 minutes. So if anybody wants to throw in anything, you know, besides that, let me know. I have been in 3 situations where I got off the road. One was due to mountainous high winds, and I just decided to get off the road because it was just pushing too much. And high wind, you're basically driving a shoebox down the road. And at some point, if you're not paying attention, the lid is going to go flying off. When you're driving down the road and it's windy and you have semi trucks that you're dealing with, it's just best to get off the road. Obviously, if you're in a hurricane, get off the road. Leave the RV. You know, we all have insurance. I thought you meant when we are just too old. Is that what it says?
That's what it says.
No.
That's what it says.
No. When you get too old to drive, you hire somebody to drive you. No, I was talking about like weather related, because the weather's been in the news so much. When I was driving through Oklahoma City, I drove through a downpour. And had there been wind in the mix, I would have pulled over. It was not during a peak traffic time. I don't really remember what time of day it was, but for some reason I want to think it was like 10:30 in the morning on a weekday. There weren't that many people on the road. I would have to go back and look. But had there been wind, I would have gotten off the road. A lot of reasons to get off the road when it's raining is that, especially if you are in Southern California driving with these maniacs out here, is because the weather is so nice here and because it rains so little, there's a lot of oil accumulation on the road. Oil on the road, rain, it's kind of like black ice. That's what it's like. And again, because the weather is so nice and blah, 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 people oftentimes ride on their tires until they are bald and the steel is sticking out of the tire. A lot of that happens here in Southern California. Then it rains and those people become lethal. So if you're ever driving in Southern California and it starts raining, even a little bit, during like a peak drive time, get off the road. Just do yourself a favor, because somebody's going to slam into you because they have really, really bad tires. But as I was traveling through the mountains, you know, it was, and this was not this trip, this was, I'll be 63 when I get on the road. I'm going to be crazy grandma. Is that going to be your handle, crazy grandma, in an RV? Or RVing with crazy grandma? That'd be awesome. Let's see, I'm going to be, okay, I'm either going to be 62 this year or 63. Totally lost as far as the age thing goes. Don't know, don't care. But anyway, yeah, in Southern California, just do yourself a favor and get off the road. Because as stupid as these drivers are here, they get even more so in the rain. I don't understand it. Just take your foot off the accelerator. A lot of people around here drive with questionable brakes as well. And so, and it's because the weather is so nice and people can they just think they can push the envelope on their car. There is no, oh, I've got to get the car ready for winter. Or, oh, I've got to get the car ready for summer. There is none of that here. I don't really get that. I would love that. Dreaming of RVing and Lori Smith, yeah, let's all go caravan. But the other thing about weather is obviously snow. Use your best judgment. A lot of places out west, chains are required. And so might want to give that a thought if you're ever considering coming out west and going over any kind of mountains. Oftentimes you'll get into situations where chains are required. Big sign. And not only that, they rent them to you. You stop and I think you rent them, or maybe they sell them to you. I'm not really sure. I don't go into the mountains, so, you know, don't really care. But that's something to consider as well. But knowing your limits as a driver, your limits as a vehicle, is really an important factor when you're driving down the road in any kind of weather. And, you know, watch weather. Go to, you know, weather.com for wherever it is that you're headed. That's what I did all the way when I came west, is I was always checking the weather. What's the weather going to be? You know, how bad's it going to get? You know, and of course also check for traffic accidents, which makes it kind of nice.
We're heading out that way this weekend, and they're calling for snow out in Montana,
Yeah.
Wyoming, Colorado.
Yeah, they are. I anticipate that, and you might need chains. Just thought I'd throw that in there. You might want to check to see what road conditions are as you travel, and pick up chains at, you know, the dollar store before they make you spend $1,000 on chains. Not at the dollar store, obviously. Escapees has a driving school to help folks learn the ropes with this type of thing. You know, and that is really great, but until it's you behind the wheel driving and you can't see 3 feet out in front of your vehicle, and your windshield wipers can't get the rain off the windshield fast enough, and the anxiety sets in, and you get that churning in your stomach, and your hands start to sweat, yeah, you don't know what your limit is. And 65 and 75 degrees. Spreadsheet. I know, dreaming of RVing, you really need to share that spreadsheet. I think that it's really up to, nobody else can do that for you. It's like driving your car. You know what your car can do. You know what you can do as the driver of that car. And, you know, and it's the same thing with your RV, you know, but your RV is bigger, and it's, when you wreck it, it's going to be a much bigger mess on the freeway.
Well, it's bad if you're driving in the wind. You got semis going around. It's terrible.
Yeah, it is terrible. I've driven, when my neighbor in North Carolina and I were coming back from the Outer Banks, she was driving the RV. It was fabulous having somebody drive. But anyway, I was watching to the south, and there was an enormous storm coming. And I told her, just take the next ramp. We're going to get off. And of course she, you know, freaked out at just take the next ramp. But I said, you know, just put your blinker on. Don't slow down now. Just, you know, can slow down. It's uphill. The RV will stop. But we pulled in to, we went and got gas, and it still hadn't started raining. And then I said, you know, we're just going to go park over there because it's coming. And by the time we got the RV parked over there, it was bending the trees. It was so much rain. It was insane how much rain it was, you know, just in a thunder and lightning storm in North Carolina. It is something that, you know, even though Linda, my neighbor, was driving, I, of course, didn't want her to experience that because she was having enough challenges just driving down the road and having the semi-trucks pass her, that, you know, had it started raining on her, that might have freaked her out a little, because then you have to find the windshield wipers and adjust the speed and blah, blah, blah. No. So it's just, how do I get it to you guys? I add spots. Shit. I add spots. I guess it depends on what it is. Is it something that you can take a picture of? For instance, the beach RV Lady was on is on there now. Yeah. Is it just like you put stickers on a map or something? Or is it actually like a spreadsheet on Excel? How do you do that really? If it's a spreadsheet on Excel, I have to think about this. It could be something you could take a picture of on your screen and then make a video. I don't know. But I don't know. Does anybody have any questions about this? I know it's really boring and kind of stupid. It's an actual spreadsheet. So if you pull it up, you could probably do, are you Mac or Apple or whatever the alternative is? Whatever it is I have. Not a Apple Mac thing. Microsoft. There's a clipping tool that's on Windows 10. And what this clipping tool does is you can go onto anything and just take a clip of it, and then it creates like an image of it. I don't know. You know, maybe you should like create a RV rally where you can be passing it out to everybody who shows up. There you go.
Put it on
okay,
Facebook.
so anyway.
Share it.
Say that again?
Put it on Facebook.
Oh, put it on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook. But I guess you can put it on Facebook. It's done in Google Sheets. Okay, half the battle's over there. It's their version of Excel. Okay. 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 If you get people's emails, you can send it as an attachment. Yeah, I think. I'm sure. Yeah, you can. I'm pretty sure.
Should be able to.
Yeah. You know, breakdowns are pretty scary on a highway. That's, you know, you really want to stay pretty conscientious about your vehicles and make sure that you don't break down. But, you know, I've watched these people with, on YouTube with relatively new, oh, we could talk about that. I just heard about that today. Lori Smith is saying, is anyone going to Nomad Fest in Texas next October? I, for one, no. Have you ever driven in snow? I have driven in snow. Thinking. Not this RV. I've driven cars in snow and trucks. I used to have SUVs. And hello, Buffy Crumlick. You're late. I used to have SUVs and with four-wheel drive. And so, yeah, I have definitely driven in snow before. In New Mexico was the last time I drove in snow. Now my daughter and son-in-law have taken my old SUV and have gone up to the local mountains in the snow, which they were going to drive one of their cars, neither of which have four-wheel drive. And so when I heard that they were going, I said, you know, just take my car. And so they were really glad that they did. The reason that they were glad that they did was because everybody else who drove their car couldn't get up the hill to the house that they were staying at. And so my daughter calls me and says, hey, can we like put a rope or a chain on other people's cars and tow it up the hill using your car? And I said, yeah, sure. yeah, sure. Good luck. But I had a Land Rover. It was pretty indestructible. And if anything had happened to it, I would have just gone to Land Rover and said, what? Had that happen the first time we took the RV. They got stuck in the snow or you had to have chains or something. Oh, blown tire. Blown tire is bad. I know. Just ignore him. I have no, I don't know what that means or why. I honestly don't know why trolls exist. That, especially those who say nothing.
He's trying to stimulate somebody going nuts on the KKK and the MKK and all that crap.
Yeah. Yeah, I have. Hola. Oh, okay. I just thought that was, keyboard spasm. Let's see. We have, with the RV. I blew a tire on the Suzuki while towing it behind the RV. That was bad. And scary. It was, I think, the first flat tire I've ever had. No, second flat tire I've ever had. Yeah, I don't typically get flat tires. I just roll my eyes and keep going.
I just put new tires on my motorhome and my towed, and the tires that I took off looked perfectly good, but they were 8 years old.
Yeah,
and they recommend it comes off because you don't know when it's going to blow.
Yeah. And these tires rot from the inside out. Don't really get that. You think they could fix that.
Right.
It's, yeah, any kind of sidewall cracking on any tire is always an indicator that you need new tires. It doesn't matter how much tread you have on it.
Right.
I have always lived this way where your tires, things you have to take care of on your vehicle, doesn't matter what vehicle, steering, tires, your wheels, tires and wheels, and your brakes. Those three things will kill you. Everything else is just going to leave you by the side of the road waiting for a tow. But those three things will kill you. Is that how much you spent? $3,000 on tires for both vehicles?
No, that was for the bus, the motorhome. Those are truck tires,
Yeah. I was going to say, if you spent $3,000, then you got both vehicles done. Wow, wheeler dealer.
No.
The tires that are on
3,500, 3,600 for both vehicles.
Yeah. Good tires are worth it. How many tires? What about the road tires?
I did 6 on the bus and 4 on the Envoy.
What about the road tires? What does that mean? Dreaming of RVing. That was expensive? Tires are expensive. Good tires.
Yeah.
Are expensive.
Our tires are the size of what's on trucks. They're big tires.
Yeah. Did you have to get a spare? Was your spare okay?
No, we don't carry spares because you can't lift them. You can't do anything. You just pull over and you call somebody.
Yeah, and they bring you a tire.
Yep.
At 3 times the price. Oh, isn't that what they do?
Well, you have to. I mean, you just can't. These tires are too big. You cannot haul them around. You can't lift them. You can't do anything.
Yeah, I don't know what size my tires are. They're RV tires. I don't know at what point you end up with truck tires as opposed to RV tires. But you do have a diesel pusher. And those tires are really important. And probably bigger and carry a bigger load than the tires I have on my RV. But I do have spare. Not that I know how to get it down from underneath the RV, but you know, I got that. I would call roadside assistance anyway. I'm not going to do that. I mean, unless I'm in the middle of nowhere, or once again have no idea where I am, or don't know how to tell people. But that's why I have a toad. Just take that off, go find out where I am, come back. Yeah, as a matter of fact, today I spent, I don't know, an hour working on my toad, the engine, making sure that, you know, I had those guys do some repairs to it in North Carolina, but it still needed to be tweaked. And so I tweaked it today. Now it runs really great. It's going to be $8,000 just for a motorhome. I thought $8,000. Oh, $8,000 for tires for the motorhome, Janet?
When I bought the thing, I thought someone told me that it would be $1,000 a tire to replace them. That's not true.
It's around $800, isn't it, per tire?
Thereabouts, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, six tires.
Yeah. Well, I figure, I mean, when I think about tires and think about budgeting for future or whatever, you know, buying either a used RV or a new RV or whatever, tires, I always think in my brain, $800 a tire. I want good tires. Bus motorhomes. Yeah. I want good tires. I want to know that when I hit the brakes, there's tread on my tires that I can leave on the asphalt and, you know, stuff like that.
We paid just under $400 or just under $500 a tire.
Well, that's not too bad. What kind of tires?
Yokohamas.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say that sounds like Yokohamas or Toyo. Toyo. And what do I have on mine? Now, interestingly enough, just speaking of tires, my son-in-law went and got me tire on the Toyota Corolla, and went to a tire store. I don't know which tire store, probably Discount Tire. But long story short, buying 4 Michelin, were they Michelins? 4 top-rated tire, like a Michelin. If it wasn't a Michelin, it was another top-rated tire. 4 of them slightly used, where somebody came in and said, you know, I want a different kind of tire on my car, so take these off, wasteful, and, you know, put on the tires that I want. They wanted those real thin ones. Yeah, I don't really get that. But, so my son-in-law bought those tires, and I want to say he paid $50 or $60 a piece for them, used.
Wow.
And they're beautiful. They're beautiful tires. Really beautiful.
On my Cadillac, I have Michelin tires. They're $500 a piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of car do you have?
And pardon me?
And what kind of car?
My Cadillac.
Hmm.
Yeah. 12.
Okay.
I only have to buy 4.
Now, is that like a Cadillac SUV, or is that like the sedan thing?
Yeah, sedan.
Sedan. Okay. That's interesting because, you know, I know you're in Ohio, and don't they like make tires there?
Hell, I don't know. For sure. I just
let's see.
I've had different tires on my vehicles, and the ride and the way the tires are just they're more round. They give a smoother ride. I mean, when my husband has tried to sneak stuff in, and all I have to do is get in and drive it, and I know all I have to do is, you know, now get out and verify what I already know. So yeah, they're a little more, but
there's one other tire that I like besides Michelin's. I just can't think of.
Goodyear.
It could be BF Rich. No, doesn't. That's not it. I would have to think about it really hard.
Firestone.
No, I have to think about it. I'll think about it before the end of this thing. Okay, it says dreaming of RVing. RV, does your rig have dollies?
Dualies is what she's talking about.
Dualies, yes, I have dualies in the back. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tires on the RV. And then I have, of course, the spare. So that's 7. And then my Toad, obviously, 4 tires. And I put 4 new tires on that, what, a year and a half ago? And bought a new spare to boot. Because, yeah, I took the cover. I have that little Tweety Bird cover or whatever on the spare, and I took that off and realized that the black of the Tweety Bird cover was causing the tire to heat up, and I had it fully inflated. So, yeah. And the guy just said, if you underinflate the tire, you will not get that kind of heat buildup, air expansion, whatever. So I ended up buying a new tire for it as well. You know, Nancy, I don't do muscle work. That sounds really weird, but if it's something that requires like a great deal of muscle or something where I'm going to get hurt, yeah, I'll pass. I'll just pay somebody. It's not that big a deal. Now, one time I did change a tire on the Suzuki, and that was my first flat tire ever. I was outside of Phoenix, Arizona, and I took it off-roading, and the tires were brand spanking new. And I had purchased them in San Diego and drove to Phoenix. And the guy who sold me the tires said, yeah, these are off-road tires. Yeah, they weren't. And so anyway, I picked up a nail, and then I went to the discount tire in Phoenix and said, yeah, not only do I have a flat tire, but I don't want any of these tires. And so they were going to give me, what were they going to do? I don't know. It was something that Discount Tire was going to do. And I said, you know, you have an advertisement that you run, and it says, if you are not happy with your tires, bring them back. It doesn't say bring them back and then we'll give you some of your money back on a new set of tires.
They wanted to prorate the use. So if you have
something,
yeah, that's prorating. Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, okay, no, that's not actually what it says in your advertisement. It doesn't say, and we will prorate whatever it is we're going to give you back. And I said, no, that's not what you're going to do. So anyway, they ended up giving me all my money back on the tires that I bought. Plus, obviously, I bought new tires there that were more off-road tires, but not so obnoxious that they're loud on the pavement. And that's where I think they punctured my intake for my gasoline, that hose intake hose. I think the guy punctured it because he was mad. And so he just took a puncture and yeah, I found that out later.
When you were out of gas?
I mean, actually, no. It was at the intake where you put the nozzle in the hole and you fill it up. Well, immediately after I got the new tires, I went and got gas in the Suzuki, and it was dripping. And I'm like, what the hell? You solve one problem and you got another one. And that's just life. But whenever it was as a Suzuki, and I just didn't fix it. I didn't even look at it. I was just being stupid. But I ended up having to replace that intake hose. And because the Suzuki wouldn't pass smog last year, it was last year on August 30th. And because I was getting a smog while my daughter was delivering her son. And I was getting a smog on the Suzuki. But there was a perfect puncture hole. And the only people who had been under the car were those guys from Phoenix Discount Tire. And then when I went to Discount Tire again here in San Diego, I told him about it. Because I have no idea what I was doing there, getting tires on something. But tires are really important. I could ramble on about how bad my memory is forever. Was downstairs giving Hubs his meds and forgot it was Thursday. So he's home. So he's home. Deborah. That's you. That's good that he's home. Load him up with meds and watch the RV Women Hangout.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions, or does anybody want to, I don't know anything?
You know what? I was thinking about today, and honestly, I was thinking about it, and I knew this call was tonight, and then I lost track of time. But here's what I was thinking about as a topic. Would be, does anybody work from on the road? And or ideas of what people could do when they're on the road if they have to make a living. You know, what could they do?
Yeah.
Or what do people do?
Oh, okay.
I mean,
know that.
That's like, that would be, I would think that would be important, and would be important to me. I don't know.
Yeah, there are many people who work and are full-time RVers. They do anything from creating
You mean like
different kinds.
You think like, is it like computer work? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, computer work. There's a lot of people who are, you know, computer savvy, whatever. You know, they can. But I'm not on the road yet. Okay, I'm just like having this brain freeze. I can't think.
It would be a future when you have a chance to think about it, and you know, it might be a future topic, not necessarily that you have to think about it on the fly.
Some of them go to those day jobs, you know, the work places that you go by the day, they pay at the end of the day.
Oh.
Yeah.
So then they can travel around and then go to a city and just register with them, and they can work 2, 3, 4, 5 days and then take off.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are very internet tech savvy, whatever. They build websites or they fix computers online, or stuff like that. You know, you're just limited by whatever it is that you can do. You know, you can.
I would have never known about the day worker thing. And, you know, for somebody that doesn't have computer skills, that wants to live on the road and they don't have a computer skill or access to a computer or all of the equipment and technical crap. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the day job thing, I never even knew something like that existed. But to me, it would seem like if it was a question of being on the road and having to also make a living, that people need to maybe have some ideas.
There are there are websites that cater to people who want to work on the road. So, example, being a camp host at a RV park.
Yeah.
You know, some of those positions are paid. Most of them are not paid, but what they do, work camping, thank you. What they do is they pay for like electricity, water, you get a site, you know, and there are a lot of websites. If you just put make money, you know, ways to make money on the road or something like that, it will bring up a bevy of websites that will answer that question. But there are a lot of people who, like Amazon during the seasons, you know, like Christmas season, I think they start somewhere at the beginning of November or mid-November, and you are given or something, you know, you park your RV and they transport you somehow magically to their warehouses where you work like a dog for like 12 hours, and then you go back and you sleep for a few hours and you get up and do it again, and you do this throughout the season. So it would be like, let's just say mid-November to the beginning of January. And there are incentives for you to complete the term of the job. And then, yeah, this beet harvest, I don't even know what that is, other than you go out into a field and pick up beets off the ground. I'm not really sure, but it's like seasonal workers.
Yeah.
There is a lot of that, and you just go to the locations, you know, you apply online, you know, you look online to find some place. I have been thinking about doing work camping, and I applied at a place where they didn't hire me or even call me back. Not really sure what that's about, but it's a real remote horse campground where people take their horses and then they take their RVs too.
Oh, that sounds nice.
And I thought that would be a good thing. And you know, it's like I contacted them via email, I contacted them via phone, and the season starts, I want to say, the 1st of October for the desert, because it's in the desert. And yet never heard anything from them. You know, it's weird. It's, you know, thank you, no thank you, that would have been okay. Or fuck off, or anything would have been good. Just nothing, just drives me crazy. Let's see, I'm in Michigan right now, so I missed it.
Dawn thought I was in Florida. She wanted to know how I fared with Irma.
Oh, yeah, no. Nana's Joy is thankfully in. Yeah, if you're artsy fartsy, you can create a website and sell your stuff online. The, you know, it's just a matter of finding a post office or a UPS office or whatever. It depends on really what you want to do. You know, are you a CNA? You know, are you some kind of, hi Roger, hi Lisa. Are you some kind of medical professional that you can distribute your skills, you know, in an area for a period of time? It's just a matter of, you know, do you make crafts, and, you know, do you want to just stop in at farmers markets and like sell your crafts for the day? You know, something like that.
The seasons, they have you sometimes run pumpkin patches and Christmas tree sites, and you can get hired for that.
Yeah, who did that? Somebody did that. Did the
Wonderless Estates did it.
Oh, yeah. That was, Didn't he have a girlfriend that he did that with or something?
Yeah, yeah. They've broken up though.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that's not, you know, you really have to, how do I want to say this? Some people who decide that they want to be full-time RVers or, you know, participate in an RVing lifestyle, they sometimes make mistakes in judgment in that they end up spending all of their time simply driving to the location where they're going to work and then working ridiculously horrible hours and then packing everything up and then driving to the next place where, you know, they go and work. And it becomes a lifestyle that is probably not very much fun. And I have a feeling that a lot of people with the expectation of being able to go and work at these work camping locations. And if you just Google work camping, there's like a lot of websites that have work camping. You know, it's one of those things that really sucks the fun out of RVing because you're not seeing anything else. You might as well live in an apartment and, you know, get a real job because it's all you're doing is you're driving from one work camping job to the next work camping job. You're blowing all your money on fuel. And I don't know, like for example, Amazon, when you go work camping there, I don't know if the RV site that you're on is free or if it's just discounted. You know, the same with the fuel that you're using, propane and or electricity. It's something that, you know, if work camping is what you want to do, you're going to have to look into it to see just how strenuous. I would never do an Amazon work camping thing. I would do like a camp host. You know, you give them 20 hours a week. I'm not sure who tells you when those 20 hours are to be utilized, but, you know, you give them 20 hours and then the rest of the time is yours and you get a free site, free electricity. They reimburse you for your propane and you get sewage. So there were a couple of places when I was up in Northern California where same kind of deal, they pay for everything. And you give them, I think it was 25 hours a week, and they pay you money, like minimum wage money. So for people who need cash as well, you know, there's an alternative. It kind of, you know, the whole work camping thing all depends on, you know, what are your resources? You know, what are you able to do? What are you able to bring to your lifestyle?
A lot of them do it 6 months out of the year. They work real hard 6 months and travel 6 months.
Yeah, but eventually that gets old too. When you said that, I was thinking of that young couple that I can never remember. They go up to Alaska every year.
Chris and G.
Yes. Okay. You know, I think that's getting real old, and because they're going up there, spending money on an RV site, because I don't think the places that they work provide an RV site. So they're spending money on that during the season, which has got to be expensive. And though they may be making money, they also have a lot of expense in just fuel and
where they stay is very, very cheap.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yes, it's very cheap.
It's
like $12 a night or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not better than free. I really don't know that particular couple. I really don't know how they make it work, because I cannot imagine they go up there for what, 4 months, is it? And they make enough money to not work for the rest of the year? I don't know how they do that. I mean, I suspect it's all credit card living, but you know, still, but it's none of my business, so I'm okay with that. It's not if I get those things in, you know. How about full-time RVing budget? That's one thing that concerns me.
That would be a hard one because everybody's different.
Everybody's different. The way you want an RV is different. There are some people with RVs that never boondock. Never. There are some people with RVs that want to do nothing but boondock. There are not a lot of places. There are not a lot of places like back east where RVs are accessible to the like BLM lands or whatever. There are very few places that when I was doing research about that, yeah, you know, it was basically a kind of a pull off the main road, and that's your RV location in a BLM situation. You know, impassable roads and stuff like that. There's a lot of tent camping BLM land area there, but to take your RV in, not so much. I see
There's a couple asking you, are you glad to be on the West Coast, and did you like the South?
No, that's not really true. I am glad to be on the West Coast. I have realized that I am a West Coaster. I am not an East Coaster. The humidity is virtually non-existent here. The weather is nice. I mean, I can go up to Northern California and there's humidity and whatever, but it's not that suffocating, oxygen depriving, suck it out of your lungs heat that is the East. The other thing that really concerned me about the East was because it was so damp, the amount of damage that I was doing to my vehicles. I didn't like that. I do not like the amount of rust that is on my RV right now. And so am I going to be sanding it off? Yeah, I am. The South was, you know, if the South had better weather, it'd be fabulous. I mean, there's a bunch of lakes. You got the ocean there. The people are, you know, fabulous. But they all seem to be pretty drunk all the time. But I'm not sure that that's not the case everywhere. You know, the trees are magnificent. There's so many forests and trees and wonderful colors of green and
Flowers.
Yeah, it was, you know, wonderful, and yet not for me. You know, I enjoyed this weather. I enjoy everything. I was just very, very happy internally when I got to the high desert as I was traveling east. I mean, I'm sorry, traveling west.
You don't like to sweat?
Yeah. I do not enjoy sweating. No. I do not enjoy having sweat start here and cover my face and go down into my body and then off so that the flood can fall down to my feet. No, not a fan. Not a fan of sweating. Just really not. Yeah. New England.
Wham.
You know, New England is great, but you have 4 months there. And then it starts snowing. Yeah, not a fan of snow. I definitely am not a fan of snow. I'm not a fan of cold. I am seriously just going to stay west of the Rockies unless I'm in an airplane. I'm never going to like drive that again. You know, Utah's out for me because of the elevation. Everything I want to see in Utah is like at 7,000 feet. Same with Wyoming, same deal. Oregon, Washington, I might as well go up there and give them another, you know, I wasn't that impressed with Oregon, but I didn't go that far up. And I really didn't give it much of a chance, you know, because of the experience that I had there. And
is that a story for another time?
At 8:06.
It's a video. You can go back and watch it. No, I went up there to look at an RV park for sale. And long story short, and I'm stupid.
Was that the cocaine place?
Meth.
Meth, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Where they all had black teeth. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, it must be really bad water. We don't want to be here. I'm having to flow water because I'm an idiot. Yeah. You know, Colorado's out for me. So I'm just going to stay in like maybe a little bit of New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, California. You know, there's plenty. I got plenty to do. Maybe some Texas every once in a while. Humidity is the worst. It is just, I can't do humidity. Honestly, I could not use moisturizer anywhere on my body. My feet are such a disaster right now because I couldn't put moisturizer on my feet because, oh my God, I've clogged all those pores and now my feet can't sweat either. I'm just, yeah, I'm not a fan of humidity ever. And it does make a huge difference.
I don't think anybody that lives in that, I can't imagine that anybody likes humidity. And you know, those people that live in those locations have ways around it. You know, obviously some of them do manual labor and you're used to it because you've lived there your whole life. But
Yeah.
for me, if it gets humid, I'm in the house. I'm in air conditioning. I don't deal with sweating or dripping or, you know, none of that. And those days have passed for me.
Yeah. The shock for me was how much electricity was there in North Carolina. It was ridiculously expensive. More than in San Diego. And people would always say, oh, is it like so much less expensive to be in North Carolina? No, it wasn't. Electricity was insane. The internet, again, I just think that's just insane everywhere. But it's like my daughter and son-in-law pay $65 a month. I was paying $108. What else? The real bad part about, this is going to sound weird, about air conditioning. I'm just not an air conditioning person. It messes with my sinuses. It makes me feel bad. And I'm also not an indoor person. I need to be outside. When you're dealing with that kind of weather, you're either, I mean, you can go outside in the morning and you can go outside in the evening and at night sometimes. But during the middle part of the day, you're in air conditioning. So, and it doesn't matter for me whether I'm going to a store or in a car or whatever, the air conditioning just completely messes with me. Now, driving in the Suzuki, you know, I get the wind and it feels all really good, but then I'd have to go into these stores and you walk into a store and it's like 68 degrees and you've just left 95 with a humidity of 87 and you walk into these stores and my sinuses were just a disaster. You know, yeah, I hate to be inside. I like to be outside. that's like what I do. Speaking of which, now that, you know, right now I am in San Diego, Southern California, and I'm going to be heading out to the desert because the temperature has finally stopped being 104. And 104 in the desert is dry, but you can actually walk outside your RV at 104 in the desert and you can almost hear your skin sizzle. That's how hot it is. And dry. Yep. It's like you hear your skin is going. So anyway, it's gotten into the mid 80s at most. And so anyway, I'm going to be heading out into the desert, and we are at 5:12, so this is kind of over. Next week, Thursday, is the 21st. Nana's Joy will be on the road.
Joining you if I can.
Joining you if I can.
Yeah. And so it's just going to be me and maybe Buffy Crumble.
Yep, me.
And if somebody else would like to co-host, let me know. If you want to come on and, you know, kind of be Nana's Joy. And basically what I need is somebody to read me the comments so that I don't have to put on my glasses and look like a freak. And because I can see some of them, but I have to go either way back here or put on my glasses. But I'll be doing this from the desert. So I'll be able to sit outside. It'll be great. I love it. I'm excited to go back out there. And so anyway, that's what we'll be doing next week. And if somebody wants to send me a topic, that'd be fabulous. Something that you want to know, something that isn't beat to death on YouTube would be really great. I have no idea what that is either. Yeah. But if you get an epiphany, let me know. And we'll go from there. We can talk about that thing in Texas. I'm not going to be going to that. But it's in October in Texas. I'm going to go with hurricane season. I'll pass, thanks. And I don't know where the location is specifically, but what I do know is that hurricane season starts the 1st of October. That's what I know. Do I need to email? No, just, I mean, you can just put it in the comment section. Okay, that's it. Thanks everybody for coming, and I'll talk to y'all next week. And no more RVLady.net.
Right.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
See you later.